Okay, let's unpack this. You're going about your life, and everything seems fine, logical, stable. But deep down, there's this restless itch, this strange, persistent signal.
Right. It's not just like Sunday night blues or boredom.
No, it's an unsettling feeling that your current reality is somehow wrong. Maybe you get this sudden, overwhelming urge to quit a perfectly good career.
Or start learning some obscure language that has absolutely zero relevance to your job.
Exactly.
That internal friction, that dissatisfaction that seems to bubble up for no rational reason. That's exactly what we're diving into today. And our sources suggest this isn't random noise. It's a profound inner signal. We're exploring the concept of future pull.
Future pull.
Yeah, the idea that your future, better self is actively reaching back through time, calling you forward.
So it's like an incoming call from future me. But why does it so often feel like anxiety or confusion? You'd think a call from your better self would feel, I don't know, exciting.
Well, that's the thing. The signal requires you to break alignment with your current reality.
Yeah.
And the ego, our current self, it resists that change.
It's scary.
It's terrifying. So today, we're really going to synthesize 3 different fields to understand this. We've got psychology, some hard neuroscience, and even some quantum concepts.
All pointing to how consciousness might literally shape our reality. So is this what the sources call the future self-activation?
Yes, that's the term they use. When your current timeline is about to shift, the energetic signature, the wave of that higher version of you, starts to make contact.
And that's the signal, the internal push.
That's the undeniable sense of direction, even when every rational argument tells you to stay put. It's disruptive because you're being prepped for an upgrade you can't see yet.
I think that distinction is so important. The feeling of wanting to change versus feeling like you are being changed.
It's crucial. People who experience this future pull, they often describe it as a passive transformation.
Like being pulled by a current.
Exactly. Your core self aligns with a new, higher frequency, and that alignment just starts pulling you towards the experiences you need.
So if our future self is our guide, how does it talk to us? It's not sending text messages.
No, the communication is on these non-linear channels. Your intuition, that strong inner voice that gives you a sudden knowing. Synchronicity, those meaningful, surprising coincidences that feel like a wink from the universe.
Yeah, like you're on the right track.
And even déjà vu, which kind of acts as a little reminder that, in a way, you've walked this path before.
Let's make this real. The source material had that story about the woman who felt a completely illogical call to move cities.
Oh, that's a perfect example. Comfortable life, good job, everything was fine.
But she just had to move. No job waiting, no friends there. I mean, that must have been terrifying.
It was described as a profound, terrifying certainty. Yeah. She had to dismantle her whole life based on a feeling.
And what happened?
3 months after she moved, she found a life-changing job she didn't even know existed and met her future husband. And her takeaway was perfect.
Yeah.
She said, "It wasn't me who chose the city, but the city chose me."
She felt the timeline pulling her in. And it doesn't always have to be so dramatic, right? There was also the man in his 40s.
Right, stuck in a routine job. For him, it started internally. Just big flashes, these images of a more successful version of himself.
So the signal starts broadcasting inside long before the outside world catches up.
Exactly. And speaking of signals, the research on the heart and intuition is just fascinating.
What did they find?
Studies have shown that the heart receives intuitive information, say about an emotional picture it's about to be shown, 1.3 seconds before the brain does.
Get out. So the heart literally knows first.
It suggests we have a kind of physiological antenna for information that isn't, local. It's not inferred, it's received.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. Let's pivot to the psychology of why our brain fights this, even when the signals are so clear. You mentioned the stranger problem.
Yes. We all struggle with something called temporal discounting. We prioritize a small reward right now over a much bigger reward in the future. And a big reason for that is we see our future self as a stranger.
Oh, I know this one. I call it the night guy problem.
Go on.
Night guy stays up late, eats junk food, watches one more episode, and leaves the exhausted morning guy to suffer all the consequences.
That is the perfect illustration. And studies found that when people feel a high connection to their future self, when future you feels like a close friend, not a stranger, they make far better decisions.
They're kinder to their future self.
They save more for retirement, they exercise, they stop bad habits. It all clicks into place.
So how do we bridge that gap? How do we stop treating future you like a distant relative and actually becoming them?
And that is the magic of neuroplasticity. This is the physical mechanism. It's the brain's ability to literally reorganize itself based on your experiences and your thoughts.
So you can actually rewire your brain.
You are always rewiring your brain. Think of your thoughts like a car driving down a path in a field. The first time, it's tough. But every time you repeat that thought or action, you deepen the tracks until you've carved a new permanent road.
A new neural pathway.
Precisely. That new path becomes the automatic default. When you repeatedly visualize a positive goal or use affirmations like, I am successful, instead of, I want to be successful.
You're paving that new road.
You're strengthening the neural connections in your prefrontal cortex for confidence, making future you feel closer, more real, and more accessible.
And our emotional state is the fuel for this whole system, isn't it?
It's critical. Studies show when you're in a positive emotional state, your memory's better, and you make more thoughtful, rational decisions.
And when you're anxious or angry,
your cognitive function is impaired. You're pushed toward impulsive, short-sighted choices. Your emotional state is a measurable factor in whether you can even choose the path of your future self.
this is a perfect transition, actually. If our emotions shape our brain chemistry, how does that connect to, well, reality itself? This is where we get into the quantum physics analogies.
Right, so in this energetic view, everything vibrates at a certain frequency. Our thoughts, our emotions, everything.
This is where the whole, attracts-like idea comes from.
Exactly. It's less a metaphor and more a description of resonance. Your internal state of being will naturally resonate with and therefore attract corresponding external experiences.
So it's not so much a law of attraction as it is a law of reflection or resonance.
Internal resonance is a great way to put it. The real shift happens when you generate the emotion of your desired future right now.
So not just thinking about being wealthy, but actually feeling abundant.
Yes. You shift your internal state from lack to abundance. That change in your energy then creates an external resonance. It just starts pulling in people and situations that match that new frequency.
Which brings us to this mind-bending idea, the path of least action.
It's an analogy drawn from the work of physicist Richard Feynman.
Okay, break it down for us.
So quantum mechanics suggests that a particle doesn't exist in one fixed spot until we look at it. Before that, it's just a wave of all possibilities.
Right.
The act of observation of consciousness is what forces that wave of possibilities to collapse into one single material outcome.
And for any particle going from point A to point B, every possible path it could take gets a vote.
Correct. And the paths that require the least energy, the most efficient routes, they get the loudest vote. They're the most probable.
So what the sources are saying is that our state of being, our consciousness, determines which path is the most efficient.
That is the key takeaway. Your internal resonance affects which path requires the least action. In a very real way, your state of being is determining what matter does.
Which means the reality we experience is just the path of least resistance, and we're the ones defining that path with our own frequency.
And it happens so fast we just perceive time as this smooth, linear thing.
It's not.
It's theorized to be more like the frames of a movie, a rapid sequence of shifts between parallel realities.
And our vibration is what tells the next frame to look almost exactly like the last one.
Unless we consciously change the instruction.
Okay, so what does this all mean for us today? If the future is literally a vibration we can align with, what are the tangible actions we can take?
It's all about aligning thoughts, emotions, and actions. And the first step, the most critical one, is to seek stillness.
Just silence.
10 minutes a day. That's when you quiet the noise of the rational mind, and that intuitive inner voice can actually be heard.
Okay, what's step 2?
Vivid visualization. And I mean vivid. Use all 5 senses. Don't just think about success. Picture yourself living it. What does it smell like? What are you touching?
You're activating the same parts of the brain as the real experience.
Building those neural pathways. Then, next, shift your language. Use positive affirmations, but from a place of being, not wanting.
So I hope I get that promotion.
But I am skilled and appreciated in my leadership role. You have to embody the outcome to match its frequency.
And a really simple one that's so powerful, gratitude.
Absolutely. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to raise your internal vibration. It immediately starts attracting more things to be grateful for.
And then you have to actually do something.
You have to take micro actions. This is where it gets real.
Yeah.
Identify the smallest possible thing your future self would do. That 1% change.
So if future you is a successful writer, current you doesn't have to write a novel today.
Current. You just need to set the alarm 5 minutes earlier and write 1 paragraph.
That one paragraph is a vote for the new timeline.
It is. It reinforces the new neural path. And finally, there's pruning.
Letting go.
You have to consciously let go of the old self, old habits, old beliefs, even relationships that don't align with where you're going. You have to make room.
This is such a powerful convergence of ideas. Your psychological link to your future self, your brain's ability to physically change, and your consciousness having the power to collapse possibilities into reality.
They're not separate theories. They're all interconnected systems driving your experience. You aren't just reacting to life. You are setting the parameters for what is probable.
Which leads us to the most extreme, but maybe the most thought-provoking conclusion from the sources we looked at.
It really is. If consciousness truly determines the path of least action for matter, and your beliefs decide what is logical for your reality, then consider this.
Okay.
If you believed with absolute, total, unwavering certainty that you could walk on water, that outcome would technically become the most probable path for the particles in your reality to take.
So it wouldn't be a miracle.
It would be physics, a consciousness physics phenomenon, following the same laws that govern everything else. It just highlights the immense and mostly untapped power of our own state of being.
So the question becomes, what new path are you voting for today?